Hey, good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Normally we do these at 9:45. I was on a phone call and I just got kind of distracted doing other things, and then it was already 9:54. So anyways, I guess it's 15 minutes late, but thanks for joining us today. Um, Today is Wednesday and June 17th, and looking forward to enjoying this good weather. It's really hot. Isn't even like in the middle of the night, it's still really warm and hot. So I hope you're appreciating that, and because it's not always this warm. Anyways, great weather today, and I wanted to talk with you a little bit about John chapter 5, verse 18 to 20, and I'll read that in just a minute. I see Sam has joined. Hello, good morning, Sam. Thanks for joining. And coming up this weekend is Father's Day, and so there was just thinking about Jesus and his relationship to to the Father during his time here on earth. And in John chapter 5, then verses 18 to 20, Jesus had did this miraculous healing at the pool. Someone who hadn't walked, in years and years and years and years. Jesus said, "Get up your mat and walk," and he was cured. And this took place on the Sabbath, right? So some of the people were not happy that he did this on the Sabbath because you're not supposed to do these things. And so verse verse 18, it says, "For this reason, these Jewish leaders who were upset with Jesus, tried all the more to kill him." Okay. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own Father, making himself equal with God. So, I mean, Jesus is God. Jesus is equal with God. And so they didn't like that because they didn't understand that's who he was. So it's John chapter 5, verse 18, and then John chapter 5, verse 19. Jesus gave them this answer: "Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does." So have you ever noticed, especially with younger children, if you watch them around their fathers, they like to imitate the things that their fathers do. So um, if the father's cutting the grass, for example, then the little boy might have a toy lawnmower, or sometimes they have those toy hammers, and you can get those sets where it's all plastic, but they can screw, a big, huge bolt or whatever into a hole in a plastic wall. There's these toys, lots of things where children like to imitate their parents, right? And so just thinking Father's Day coming up, I was thinking how especially younger children like to imitate um, what their father does. Even, not even maybe even understanding, they'll sit like if if their dad is sitting with their legs folded, then the little boy will come and sit and do the same thing, right? I'm sure you've seen that happen. And so I see here, and not that Jesus is in the same way related to his father the way we're related to our fathers, but he says the son could do nothing by himself, right? He only does what he sees his father doing, um, because whatever the father does, okay, the son also does, right? So Jesus is in tandem. He is whatever the father does, he's doing it. So these people are upset at him, and they're saying, no, no, no. I mean, whatever the God the Father is doing, that's what the Son is doing. Okay, so um, verse 20 says, "For the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. Yes, and he will show him even greater works than these, so that you will be amazed." So the Father reveals what he's doing, right, to the Son. And Jesus says he only does, he's only obeying, he only does what his Father does. He's not acting on his own. He's in that relationship, that Trinitarian relationship. And so he's doing that. The Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. And then I was reminded of verses in Amos chapter 3, verse 7. It says, "Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants and prophets." What do you think about that? The Father revealing what he's doing to his Son. And then Amos saying that the sovereign Lord will reveal what he's doing. He doesn't do anything without revealing, to his servants and to his prophets. And we see Jesus, as the Father reveals what Jesus obeys, Jesus does. He's only doing what his Father is doing. And so how often are we aware? I guess, of what God is doing. I think many times we get distracted, especially, 2020 is like a crazy year. Uh, the forest fires in Australia, that was like the biggest news of the decade, and now we don't even talk about it anymore because there's been so many things. Then the coronavirus comes and has revealed, this dark, systemic um, racism, and people are blaming Asian people for this, and it's not really, fair. And then just the anger that's coming out. More people are on social media. Maybe that's why, I'm not sure. But it's been a crazy year. But do you ever step back, pause, and then ask God, what are you doing? Would you please reveal what you're doing to your servant, to me? And I wonder if that would change our perspective. God's always working. He can redeem anything. The story of Joseph tells us that in the Old Testament. Like whatever people plan for evil, God can bring good out of that, and make things even better. And so, um, have you done that lately? Have you asked God to show you what's He doing around you? What is He doing? Where is He working in your family? Where is He working in your life, in your church community? Maybe where is God working in our city? He loves to reveal what He does. And so, would you do that? With that picture of the Son wanting to be like the Father, and Jesus obeying the Father and only doing what the Father reveals what He's doing. Why don't, as servants, why don't we ask God to reveal to us, hey God, what are you doing these days? Where are you working in the midst of all this chaos? And I wonder what He might say to you. And so, why don't you give that a try? Ask God to show Him where He's working in your family, in your relationships, in your life. And please feel free to share with us. We'd love to hear uh, how God is working. So thanks for joining us today. And we'll be back tomorrow and Thursday at 9:45 in the morning for another devotional. See you then.